The moment I inserted the key into the lock, I heard hushed voices coming from the bedroom. My hand froze midair, and my blood ran cold. It was Friday. Daniel had told me he'd be working late and not to wait up for him, but it was only 8 o'clock, and his car was parked downstairs. Daniel. A sweet, delicate female voice drifted from the bedroom, and I nearly dropped the key I was holding. I knew that voice all too well. Emma, my cousin. Sweetie, tomorrow is Sophia's and my engagement gala. Tonight is our last time. Daniel's voice was low and husky. The last time? Emma's voice was tearful. Daniel, are you really going to marry her? Honey, haven't I told you? Once I get the Vance family's money, I'll divorce her, and then we can be together openly. My legs went weak, and I nearly collapsed to the floor. Daniel, my fiancé of 3 years, was cheating on me with my own cousin. And from their conversation, it wasn't the first time, but I can't bear to leave you. Emma whined playfully. Why don't we just run away together? Run away? Daniel chuckled. Emma, what do you think I'm with Sophia for? Her family's company is worth $2 billion. Once I marry her, all that money will be ours. But she's so smart, what if she finds out? Her? Daniel scoffed. Sophia is completely wrapped around my finger. She'll never suspect a thing. I bit my lip tightly, tears threatening to spill. For 3 years, I had thought of Daniel as the man I would entrust my life to, but in his eyes, I was just a fool to be exploited. So when can we be together? Emma asked. Soon, a year at most. Once I gain control of the Vance family's company, I'll divorce her immediately. Then, the money will be ours, and so will you. Ambiguous sounds drifted from the bedroom, and I couldn't bear to listen anymore. I tiptoed out of the room, closed the door, and leaned against the wall, gasping for air. My phone vibrated. It was a text message from Daniel. Sweetie, working late at the OFFI. See. You go to sleep first. See you tomorrow. I stared at the message, my heart aching as if stabbed by a knife. So I had been living a lie all this time. And tomorrow's engagement gala was just a farce to him. I wiped away my tears and replied, okay, take care of yourself. After sending the message, my hand was trembling. Daniel, if you're going to treat me like a fool, then I'll show you just how smart this fool can be. The next morning, I pretended as if nothing was amiss and got up to make breakfast as usual. Daniel returned promptly at 8, dressed in a suit, his hair neatly combed, showing no signs of having spent the night with another woman. Sweetie, good morning. He walked over, hugged me, and kissed my forehead. I suppressed my disgust and forced a smile. Good morning. Are you tired? I'm fine. For our future, this little bit of tiredness is nothing. He looked at me with deep affection. Sophia, marry me, you won't regret it. I almost laughed out loud. No regrets? If I actually married him, I'd probably regret it for the rest of my life. Oh, by the way, I said, testing the waters, Emma called me yesterday and said she'd be arriving at the hotel early today to help out. Daniel's expression stiffened for a moment, but he quickly recovered. Emma is so thoughtful. You cousins really have a great relationship. A great relationship? If we had a great relationship, would she be seducing my fiancé? Yes, we grew up together. She's like a younger sister to me. I said gently. She even said yesterday that if we got married, she'd want to find a man as good as you. Daniel's eyes flickered. Emma is still young, no rush. I nodded, sneering inwardly. He probably wished Emma would give up hope quickly and just focus on being his mistress. After breakfast, Daniel left for the office to handle some matters, and I began making the final preparations for tonight's engagement gala. But before that, I had something more important to do. I called Alex, the private investigator. Alex had been recommended by a college classmate and specialized in infidelity investigations. Alex, it's me, Sophia. Miss Sophia? How can I help you? I need you to investigate someone, Emma, and her relationship with Daniel. A few seconds of silence on the other end. Miss Sophia, are you saying? Yes, I suspect my fiancé is cheating on me, and the other woman is my cousin. I understand. How long will this take? The sooner, the better. I need results by this afternoon, if possible. All right, I'll arrange it right away. I hung up the phone and took a deep breath. Daniel, Emma, if you want to put on a show, I'll play along to the very end. But tonight's engagement gala will likely be a night you'll never forget. At 3 in the afternoon, Alex's call came through. Miss Sophia, the results are in. His voice was heavy. You should prepare yourself. Tell me. Emma and Daniel do indeed have an illicit relationship, and it's been going on for 8 months. I have photos of them entering and leaving hotels multiple times, and some intimate footage. 8 months. That means while I was happily planning our wedding, they were already involved. Is there anything else? I asked, suppressing my fury. There's one more thing, possibly more serious. Alex hesitated. I found that Daniel has recently been in frequent contact with some corporate spies, allegedly collecting internal documents from your father's company. Corporate spies? My heart sank to the bottom. So wasn't just trying to con me into marriage, he also wanted to steal my family's business secrets. Send me all the information, I said, gritting my teeth. All right, I'll send them right over. Also, Miss Sophia, how do you plan to handle this? I looked at the sunset outside the window, a cold smile playing on my lips. Naturally, I'll give everyone a surprise at the engagement gala. At 6 in the evening, I arrived at the engagement gala venue on time, the luxurious ballroom W. As brightly lit and filled with guests. I wore a long white dress, meticulously made up, looking like a happy bride-to-be. Daniel had already arrived and was chatting amiably with my father. When he saw me enter, he immediately came over to greet me. Sophia, you look beautiful today. He gazed at me with deep affection and whispered in my ear, I'm the happiest man in the world. Really? I smiled and linked my arm through his. I'm very happy too. If I hadn't known the truth, I probably would have been completely fooled by his affectionate act. Emma is here too. Daniel pointed to a spot not far away. She looks beautiful today. I followed his gaze. Emma, in a pink gown, was talking to my mom. Seeing us look at her, she smiled sweetly and walked towards us. Sophia, congratulations. She hugged me. Daniel, congratulations. Daniel's smile looked a bit unnatural. Thank you, Emma. I carefully observed their interactions and noticed some interesting details. Emma's eyes would inadvertently drift to Daniel, and Daniel would sneak glances at her as well. There was a subtle tension between them that only I could detect. Emma, your dress is lovely today. Where did you buy it? I asked intentionally. Oh, this. Emma blushed slightly. A friend gave it to me. A friend? More likely Daniel gave it to her. The engagement ceremony was about to begin. Daniel and I stood on stage, receiving everyone's blessings. The MC held the microphone, passionately recounting our love story. Mr. Daniel and Miss Sophia met at a charity gala 3 years ago, fell in love at first sight, and have been inseparable ever since. The guests below offered enthusiastic applause. Emma sat in the front row, smiling sweetly, but I noticed her fists were tightly clenched. Now, please, Mr. Daniel, place the engagement ring on the bride's finger, the MC announced. Daniel picked up the ring and looked at me with deep affection. Sophia, from today on, you are my fiancé. I swear I will love and protect you for the rest of my life. I nodded, my eyes welling up with tears, appearing utterly moved. But only I knew these were tears of hatred. The moment the ring was on, I gripped the microphone and said with a smile, thank you all for coming to our engagement gala today. On this special day, I'd like to share something truly special with everyone. Daniel looked at me, puzzled. Sophia, what are you going to say? I gave him a sweet smile. Our love story, of course. Though, this version might be a little different from what the MC just told you. The guests exchanged bewildered glances, not understanding what I meant. I took a deep breath, pulled out my phone, and said, actually, today I want to show everyone some pictures. Daniel's face instantly changed. Sophia, what are you doing? Stop. What am I doing? My smile gradually turned cold. Of course, I'm going to let everyone see the true relationship between my fiancé and my cousin. With that, I pressed the projection button on my phone. On the large screen appeared the photos Alex had taken, images of Daniel and Emma embracing and kissing. The entire hall erupted in gasps. The photos flashed one after another on the large screen, each one showing intimate moments between Daniel and Emma. Kisses by the hotel entrance, embraces in the car, and even the recording of their affair from my bedroom last night. Daniel, when can we be together openly? Soon, sweetie, once I get the Vance family's money. The recording played clearly throughout the entire ballroom. Everyone was too stunned to speak. Daniel's face was ashen. He rushed onto the stage, trying to grab my phone. Sophia, what are you doing? Stop it. I easily dodged him and continued playing the recording. Everyone, listen to how my wonderful fiancé describes me. Sophia is a complete fool when it came to love, completely wrapped around my finger. She'll never suspect a thing. Gasps filled the hall. I saw Mom's face turn terribly ugly. And Dad was trembling with rage. Emma tried to run, but my cousin Ethan blocked her way. She cried, explaining, it's not like that. Everyone, listen to me. Explain? I sneered, walking down from the stage directly to her. Emma, what do you have left to explain? Sophia, I didn't mean to. Emma cried, her face streaked with tears. Daniel seduced me. Seduced? I pulled out another recording. Then how do you explain this? Emma's voice came from the recording. Daniel, you said you'd divorce Sophia and marry me. I've waited for you for 8 months. Emma's face instantly went white. She hadn't expected me to have recorded that too. Seeing that everything was exposed, Daniel decided to drop his pretense entirely. Sophia, do you think you're so smart? You're right, I was only after your family's money. He pointed at everyone present, laughing maniacally. You rich people, aren't you all lording it over others because of your wealth? I'm just taking back what's mine. What's yours? Dad stood up, enraged. Daniel, I treated you like a son-in-law, and this is how you treat my daughter. Son-in-law? Daniel sneered. Uncle, your daughter is just an ATM to me. For 3 years, I put so much effort into pleasing her. Now it's time to collect on my investment. Mom was so furious she nearly fainted and had to be supported. I watched Daniel's frantic behavior, feeling a strange calm. Daniel, you still have one last card up your sleeve, don't you? He froze for a moment. What do you mean? I pulled out the corporate espionage documents Alex had investigated. These people, they're all your associates, aren't they? Specialized in stealing our company's business secrets. Daniel's face completely changed. You. How did you know? I also know that you plan to use your status as my husband after we married to gain company shares, then sell our family's technical data to competitors, I said, enunciating each word. This isn't just marriage fraud, it's corporate espionage. The entire hall fell silent. Everyone was shocked by this astonishing twist. Daniel knew everything was completely exposed, and a malicious glint flashed in his eyes. Sophia, since you're showing no mercy, don't blame me for being ruthless. With that, he suddenly pulled a small knife from inside his suit jacket and lunged at me. Watch out! Dad cried out. In that critical moment, Emma suddenly rushed forward and shielded me. The knife pierced her shoulder, and blood instantly stained her pink gown. Emma! I gasped. Daniel hadn't expected Emma to take the knife from me. The knife dropped from his hand, and he seemed completely stunned. Security quickly apprehended Daniel, and an ambulance soon arrived at the scene. In the ambulance, Emma weakly squeezed my hand. Sophia, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. Don't talk. Focus on recovering. I looked at her with mixed emotions. Although she had betrayed me, in that crucial moment, she still took the knife from me. Perhaps that's the complexity of human nature. Emma was rushed to the hospital for emergency treatment, and Daniel was taken away by the police. The engagement gala had turned into a fiasco, but I felt a sense of relief. Finally, I no longer had to live in a lie. Back home, I sat in the living room, gazing at the night view outside the window. Mom and Dad were by my side. Mom, with red-rimmed eyes, said, Sophia, it's Mom's fault. I didn't see that scumbag for who he truly was. Mom, it's not your fault. I leaned on her shoulder. I was just too naive. Dad said angrily, this time, he'll definitely pay the price. Corporate espionage is no laughing matter. The next day, news broke about the engagement gala scandal that rocked the entire city. High engagement, fiancé's affair with cousin on spot, Vance betrayed at grand, grooming corporate, shocking at engagement, scumbag and mistress. Online comments overwhelmingly supported me. Miss Sophia is amazing. That's how you deal with a scumbag. That is truly scum, swindling money and women, and trying to steal technology. Emma showing a bit of humanity by blocking the knife in the end, but cheating with her cousin's fiancé is still wrong. I didn't pay attention to these comments. Instead, I focused on handling the aftermath. Daniel was formally charged with corporate espionage and assault, and a long prison sentence awaited him. The corporate spies he had bribed were also rounded up, minimizing our company's losses. A week later, Emma was discharged from the hospital. She came to apologize to me, a bandage still wrapped around her shoulder. Sophia, I know nothing I say will matter, but I still want to say I'm sorry. She lowered her head, not daring to look me in the eye. Why? I asked calmly. Why did you betray me? Emma bit her lip, then finally spoke after a long pause. Because of jealousy. Growing up, you were always better than me at everything. Academics, looks, family background. I thought if I stole your man, it would prove I was better than you. And now? Now I know I was wrong. She looked up, her eyes full of remorse. Daniel never loved me. I was just a tool for him to use. And you truly treated me like a sister. I looked at her haggard appearance, and the anger in my heart gradually subsided. After all, she had taken the knife from me at the last minute. Emma, I can forgive you for this, but our relationship can't go back to how it was, I said indifferently. From now on, we'll just be regular cousins. Emma nodded, tears streaming down her face. I understand. Sophia, thank you for not holding a grudge. After she left, I finally felt true liberation. A 3-year relationship, ending like this. But I didn't regret it, because I had seen his true colors in time. A month later, I was back on track with my normal life. The company's business was booming. Without the insider, our new product development was progressing smoothly. I also restarted my social life, attending friend G. Gatherings and cultivating new hobbies. Sophia, you look even more beautiful now than before, my best friend Olivia told me as we sat in the cafe. Sure enough, women get prettier after leaving a scumbag. I laughed and shook my head. It's not that dramatic. It's true, Olivia said earnestly. Before, you were always so worried about Daniel, but now you're so much more relaxed. She had a point. Before, I was always worrying if Daniel wasn't devoted enough, if he was too tired from work, if his family didn't like me. Now, looking back, those worries were completely unnecessary. He never considered me someone he wanted to spend his life with. My worries were probably just a joke to him. Oh, Olivia said, smiling mysteriously. I have a friend I want to introduce you to. I waved my hand quickly. No. I'm allergic to men right now. He's really great. A college classmate of mine, he studied abroad, he's handsome, has good character, and most importantly, he's very respectful towards women. Olivia, I genuinely don't want to date right now, I said sincerely. After everything with Daniel, I need time to reevaluate myself. Olivia nodded understandingly. You're right. No rush then. But if you ever want to meet new people, just let me know. As we were talking, a familiar figure walked into the cafe, Daniel's mother, Aunt. She saw me, her expression becoming very complex, and after a moment's hesitation, she walked over. Sophia. Aunt's voice was a little choked up. Auntie, can I sit down and talk for a moment? I glanced at Olivia, who discreetly stood up. I'm going to the restroom. After Sarah sat down, her eyes were red. Sophia, Auntie knows Daniel did wrong, but he truly realizes his mistake. He regrets it every day in there, saying he's sorry to you. Aunt, I interrupted her. You know what Daniel did, don't you? Aunt lowered her head. I know. He shouldn't have. Then do you think I should still forgive him? I asked calmly. Aunt bit her lip, and after a long moment, said, Sophia, Auntie knows I have no right to ask for your forgiveness, but Daniel. He says he truly loves you, and that Emma was just a momentary lapse. I gave a bitter smile. Even now, Daniel was still lying, deceiving even his own mother. Aunt, I have already forgiven Daniel, I said earnestly. But forgiveness doesn't mean I will continue to have any relationship with him. He hurt me and he hurt 2 families. He needs to bear the consequences himself. Aunt's tears fell. Sophia, please go back and tell him to reform himself and start anew, I said, standing up. As for us, it's completely over. Walking out of the cafe, I felt even lighter. This was probably my final interaction with Daniel from the past. 3 months later, I received an unexpected call. Miss Sophia, I'm Daniel's lawyer, a stranger's voice said on the phone. Daniel would like to see you. I frowned. Is there something important? He says he has something very important to tell you, concerning Emma. Emma? We hadn't been in touch since her apology. I heard she went to work in a southern state, far away from all this trouble. What is it? The lawyer hesitated. He says Emma might be in danger. My heart rate quickened. Although had betrayed me, she was still my cousin, and she had ultimately taken the knife for me. After much thought, I agreed. All right, I'll go see him. In the prison visiting room, Daniel looked much more haggard. The once vibrant man now had dull eyes and a sallow complexion. Sophia. Seeing me, a complex light flashed in his eyes. Thank you for coming. Tell me, what about Emma? I got straight to the point. Daniel took a deep breath. Those corporate espionage organizations, they won't let witnesses go. My heart sank. Are you saying? Emma knows about my collaboration with them. Now that I've been caught, they're worried she might expose their secrets. Daniel's voice trembled slightly. A few days ago, I received word that they already started to make their move. Why are you telling me this? I asked calmly. Daniel gave a bitter smile. Because I owe you too much. Sophia, I know I have no right to ask for your forgiveness, but Emma is innocent. She was only dragged into this because of me. I looked at him, suddenly feeling as if I didn't know him. This man who had still been trying to argue his case in court, was now worried about Emma? Do you still love her? I asked. Daniel shook his head. Not love, it's guilt. I exploited her feelings, and now I'm making her face danger. His voice choked up, and he genuinely seemed to regret it. How can I help her? I asked. Contact the police and have them protect her, Daniel said urgently. That organization is very dangerous, Emma can't fight them alone. I nodded. I understand. Sophia. As I was about to leave, Daniel suddenly called out to me. I'm sorry. I know it's too late to say it, but I still want to say. I'm sorry. I paused, without turning back. Daniel, if I could turn back time, I wish I had never met you. With that, I walked away without looking back. Leaving the prison, I immediately contacted the police and relayed Daniel's words to them. The police took the situation seriously and immediately began investigating the movements of that corporate espionage organization. That same evening, I received news. Emma had indeed encountered danger, but fortunately, the police arrived in time and saved her life. Hearing this news, I breathed a sigh of relief. Regardless, Emma was my cousin. I didn't want anything bad to happen to her. 6 months later, my life had completely gotten back on track. The company's new product was a great success, and our market share reached a new high. I, too, had grown a lot during this period, no longer the girl who was easily swayed by emotions. Sophia, you've changed, Mom said with emotion, watching me work diligently. You've become stronger. Have I? I smiled. Perhaps. Although was a scumbag, objectively speaking, he helped you grow, Dad said. You're more charismatic now than before. I nodded. Indeed, having experienced betrayal and deception, I learned to protect myself better and to view relationships more rationally. That afternoon, as I was handling documents in my office, my secretary knocked and entered. Miss Sophia, there's a young lady outside asking for you. She says she's your cousin. Emma? Why was she back? Let her in. A few minutes later, Emma pushed the door open and entered. I hadn't seen her in 6 months. She had lost a lot of weight, and her face was somewhat haggard, but her mental state seemed good. Sophia. She stood nervously at the doorway. See, can I sit down? Have a seat, I said, gesturing to the sofa. Emma sat down and remained silent for a moment before speaking. Sophia, thank you for saving me. Saving you? Daniel told me that you contacted the police to protect me. Tears welled up in her eyes. If it wasn't for you, I might have. I waved my hand. It was nothing, don't worry about it. No, it was life-saving for me, Emma said earnestly. Sophia, I know I have no right to ask for your forgiveness, but I still want to say. Emma, I interrupted her. Let bygones be bygones. How have you been? I found a job in a southern state, as a designer for an advertising company. She wiped her tears. Although the salary isn't high, I'm working hard. I want to live independently, without relying on anyone. Seeing her earnest demeanor, the last trace of resentment in my heart also faded away. That's good, I said sincerely. Everyone makes mistakes, what's important is to learn from them. Sophia. Emma suddenly knelt down. I beg you to forgive me. I know I did a lot of wrong things, but I truly know I was wrong. I quickly helped her up. Emma, what are you doing? I've been reflecting every day recently, and I've realized that I not only hurt you, but myself too, she said, crying. For a man who never loved me, I lost the most precious sisterly bond. Seeing her sincere remorse, my heart softened. Emma, I forgive you, I said softly. But what? She asked nervously. But we can't go back to how we were, I said honestly. Once trust is broken, it's very difficult to fully repair. Emma nodded. I understand. Sophia, I don't expect us to go back to the way things were. I just hope you can give me a chance to start fresh. What do you mean? I want to turn over a new leaf and earn your trust again, she said firmly. Even if it takes a lifetime. I looked at her earnest eyes, and a warm feeling welled up in my heart. Perhaps, relationships between people truly can be rebuilt. Another year passed, and new changes came to my life. At an industry conference, I met a refined gentleman, Noah. He was the founder of a tech company, 3 years my senior, with a steady character and remarkable eloquence. Most importantly, his attitude towards me always maintained a proper distance, without any hint of flirtatiousness or ulterior motives. Miss Sophia, it's a pleasure to meet you. He politely extended his hand when we first met. Mr. Noah, I've heard much about you, I replied. Our relationship developed very naturally, starting with professional collaboration, then transitioning into friendship. Noah was a true gentleman, never making me feel any pressure. He would bring me coffee when I worked late and listen patiently when I was troubled, but he never crossed any boundaries. One evening, 6 months later, we were walking along the riverside. Sophia. Noah suddenly stopped. I want to tell you something. I looked at him, my heart beating a little faster. I like you. He looked into my eyes earnestly. But I'm not rushing you for an answer. I know you've been hurt before, so I'm willing to wait. His words sent a wave of warmth through me. Unlike wild passion, Noah offered me a sense of security and respect. Noah. I said softly. Thank you for your patience. So, are you willing to give us a chance? He asked gently. I looked deeply into his eyes and nodded. I am. Our courtship was calm, without dramatic twists and turns, but full of warmth and beauty. Noah was also very good to my family. Mom and Dad both really liked him. You have good taste this time, Dad told me privately. Noah is a dependable man. Yes, completely different from Daniel, Mom agreed. Look how thoughtful Noah is, he always brings us little gifts when he visits. Even agreed. Throughout that year, Emma truly worked hard to rebuild our relationship. She would text me regularly with updates, carefully prepare gifts for my birthday, and offer help when I encountered difficulties. Sophia, Mr. Noah is truly wonderful, she said sincerely. I can tell he genuinely loves you. How can you tell? I asked, curious. The way he looks at you, Emma smiled. That kind of gaze can't be faked, it's filled with respect, care, and tenderness. It's completely different from Daniel's greedy gaze. Hearing her mention Daniel, I frowned slightly. Do you still contact him? No, Emma shook her head. I haven't seen him since the last incident. I heard he's been behaving well in prison and might get a reduced sentence. Is that so? I replied calmly. As for Daniel, I felt nothing anymore, neither hatred nor love, just like a complete stranger. 2 years later, Noah proposed to me. Unlike the previous engagement, this proposal ceremony was simple. Right by the riverside where we often walked. Sophia, will you marry me? Noah knelt on one knee, holding a ring. There were no flowers or music around, just the gentle lapping of the river and distant lights. But in that moment, I felt an unprecedented happiness. I will, I nodded, tears in my eyes. The moment the ring was placed on my finger, I thought of that night 3 years ago, and Daniel's hollow vows. Thankfully, I saw his true colors in time, otherwise, how would I have found my current happiness? Our wedding was set for spring, kept simple, inviting only our closest family and friends. Emma also received an invitation. Sophia, can I attend your wedding? She asked, a little nervous. If you think it's inappropriate. Of course, I said with a smile. You're my cousin, you should absolutely be there. Emma was so touched that tears fell from her eyes. Thank you, Sophia. On the wedding day, the weather was clear, and the spring breeze was gentle. I wore a pure white wedding dress, walking arm in arm with Dad towards Noah. He stood at the altar, his eyes filled with tender love. Miss Sophia, do you take Mr. Noah to be your lawfully wedded husband, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, until death do you part? The officiant asked. I do, I answered firmly. Mr. Noah, do you take Miss Sophia to be your lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, until death do you part? I do. Noah's voice was clear and strong. As we exchanged rings, a wave of enthusiastic applause erupted from the guests. I saw the relief in Mom and Dad's eyes, the blessings on my friends' faces, and the sincere good wishes in Emma's eyes. This was the wedding I had truly wanted. No schemes, no betrayal, just pure love and beautiful wishes. You may now kiss the bride, the officiant announced. Noah gently cupped my cheek and kissed me tenderly. In that moment, all pain vanished, leaving only an abundance of happiness in my heart. Our married life was peaceful and wonderful. Noah was a thoughtful husband, and both our careers were thriving. A year later, I became pregnant. Really? Noah was so excited he could barely speak when he heard the news. Yes, the doctor says I'm 2 months along, I said, smiling and touching my belly. Noah gently caressed my belly, his eyes filled with tenderness. Our baby. During my pregnancy, Noah cared for me every step of the way. He'd accompany me to prenatal checkups, cook nutritious meals for me, and gently rub my back when morning sickness made me miserable. Noah, you're so good to me, I once said, deeply moved. Honey, you're my wife. Taking care of you is what I'm supposed to do, he said, gently kissing my forehead. This feeling of being cherished was something I had never experienced with Daniel. 9 months later, our daughter was born. Tiny as she was, she had Noah's eyes and eyebrows and my lips, so adorable she melted my heart. "What's her name?" the nurse asked. Noah looked at me. "You name her." I thought for a moment. "Audrey, I hope she has a safe and happy life and grows up well." "Audrey, that's a beautiful name," Noah said, nodding with satisfaction. The moment I held our daughter, I felt like the happiest woman in the world. This little life was the crystallization of Noah's and my love, and our hope for the future. 5 years passed, and Noah's and my relationship remained as sweet as when we first fell in love. Our daughter, Audrey, was now 4 years old, bright and adorable, the greatest joy in our lives. "Mom, where's Dad?" Audrey asked, wrapping her arms around my neck. "Dad's on a business trip, but he'll be back tomorrow," I said, kissing her little cheek. Noah often traveled for work, but he always returned quickly, never leaving Audrey and me to worry. That evening, I received an unexpected phone call. "Miss Sophia, it's Daniel." The familiar yet strange voice on the phone made me freeze for a few seconds before I responded. "How do you have my number?" I asked calmly. "I'm out of prison." Daniel's voice was a little hoarse. "Miss Sophia, can I see you?" "There's no need," I refused directly. "There's nothing for us to talk about. I know I don't have the right to ask for your forgiveness, but I want to apologize to you in person," Daniel pleaded. "Just 5 minutes is all I need." I hesitated for a moment, but final. Ly agreed. "Tomorrow at 3 p.m., downtown." The next day, I arrived at the cafe on time. Daniel was already waiting there. 5 years in prison had aged him considerably. His once handsome face was now etched with the marks of hardship. "Miss Sophia, thank you for agreeing to see me." He stood up, a little reserved. "Sit down." "Speak," I said, calmly taking my seat. "I want to formally apologize for what happened back then," Daniel said, bowing deeply. "It was I who hurt you, and hurt 2 families." I looked at him, my heart devoid of any emotion. "And? I know an apology can't change anything, but I still want to say, I'm sorry," he said, tears welling in his eyes. "For the past 5 years, I've regretted it every single day." "Daniel, do you know what the biggest punishment is?" I said coolly. He looked at me, puzzled. "It's not prison. It's that I'm living a better life than ever before. While you've lost everything," I stood up. "I now have a loving husband, an adorable daughter, and a happy family. And you have nothing left." Daniel's face turned ashen. "So, your apology means nothing to me." I picked up my bag. "Because I stopped caring about you a long time ago." Stepping out of the cafe, I took a deep breath of fresh air. This was probably my last meeting with Daniel. From now on, there would be no trace of him left in my life. Back home, Noah was playing with building blocks with Audrey. "Mommy's home." Audrey ran over and hugged my leg. "Where did you go today?" Noah asked gently. "I went to see an old acquaintance," I said, picking up Audrey. "Someone who completely belongs to the past." Noah seemed to understand and didn't ask any more questions, simply reaching out to put his arm around both of us. "Welcome home," he whispered in my ear. Yes, this was my home. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.